time. Thank you. Well, you guys just real quick, since I know we have a lot of guests on too, just maybe introduce yourself and where you are. That would be good. Maria, go for it.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Maria DiPoce. I am in Richmond, Virginia. Currently, I have lived almost coast to coast, Arizona to Richmond. And I've been in real estate for 20 years, operated in some pretty big markets, Phoenix and Dallas being two of them. And then 4 years ago, I moved to Richmond, and I have been a team leader with Keller Williams for 9 out of the 20 years I've been in real estate.
Long journey. Love it. Hannah?
Maria started when she was 11,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The math doesn't math.
Doesn't math.
I'm Hannah Kitt. I'm so excited to be here. I'm the team leader in Asheville, North Carolina. If you hadn't heard of us, I'm sure you did after the hurricane last year. So, I've been with Keller Williams and only with Keller Williams for 7 years. And in the leadership capacity the entire time. So I have a license, but I've not ever actively helped anyone buy or sell real estate. So I had that as a limiting belief for a while, but I've gotten over that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, lots of y'all donated to the Asheville release. So thank y'all for doing that because you went directly to Hannah's people. It was really awesome. So thank y'all so much.
You.
Okay, Teresa's on, so I'm adding her. Okay, Dylan, you go for it. There's Teresa.
Hey, I'm Dylan. I'm the team leader in Richmond, Kentucky. I have been in for now about 10 months, and I have, or 9 months or so, somewhere in that range. And I have never sold real estate either. I'm the team leader for Dana in her Richmond office. And like Hannah, I've never helped anybody with real estate as far as finding property, but I love the role. I love KW, and this is I've really enjoyed it. It's been amazing.
Love it. They love having you. So good. Teresa?
What am I answering?
Oh, just who you are and where you are.
Who am I? I'm Teresa Kenny. I'm the team leader at Keller Williams Consultants in Dublin. We have around 350 agents. I love them all. We have the best office in Columbus. It's a pure joy to work here. And yeah, love it.
Awesome. Y'all are all just my favorites. I'm so happy y'all are here. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's just go around. Really, however y'all want to start. I would say just start popping off your biggest takeaways, biggest ahas. Usually when we get started, we'll kind of roll with a theme, but no theme in particular order.
I was going to ask Dana, have you already gone over the vision speech with your people, like Gary's predictions and stuff? So we don't need to do that?
So we did that yesterday and we recorded it. We had a lot going on, so there wasn't as high of attendance on that. I would say maybe don't hit as high on that, but also any market updates, anything that from the industry update that if there was anything major, but I don't know. Yeah, so we did, but you could still touch on it too.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well, yeah, well, and I guess, and we don't have to talk about specific numbers, but there were a couple things Gary said in that I loved, because I know you all have been dealing with interest rates just like we have and an incredible rise in home prices. But Gary said, don't wait for the right time to buy real estate and wait. The other thing I loved that he said was you might be buying at the top of the moment, but you're never buying at the top of the market.
Right.
And we in Asheville, we're more of a tourist, like second, third home community. Even being hit by a hurricane, our market hasn't slowed down. I told Dana this morning, we recovered from the hurricane in 8 weeks. And I think it's proof that people still need to buy and sell real estate. And so much of it is rooted in your mindset. And so we've been spending a lot of time in our community or in our market center talking about mindset and how in a shifting market, the market share you gain, you never lose. We heard that a million times. And the market share you lose in a shift, you never get back. So it's, yes, we're making more phone calls, we're doing more touches with value, but there's business to be had for the people that want it. And so I think that's exciting because a lot of people aren't trying.
And I think to piggyback on that, what I'm seeing a lot of right now, and Gary has been talking about this, and I think Jason, and they've been predicting this, which is our top agents are doing more business. than they ever have before. And of course, maybe that business is coming away, so to speak, from the newer agents. But I still think like we have plenty of newer agents that are also killing it as long as they're going out there and getting in front of the business. And, you know, if you're just going to sit back, like this isn't your market, right? Like, but if you're out there and you're touching your database, like you said, Hannah, like people cannot keep up. I don't think, I think some of my top agents are the busiest they've ever been. So like, yes, I think, and to talk about like the vision slides, I do think, and I keep reminding my agents that one slide that had the home sales on it, like we definitely, you know, felt that last year, right? Like I think it was like 4.1 million homes sold last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not enough, right?
Yeah.
We need a couple more million to feel good. And I think when you're leading in these times, and whether you're in leadership or now, you are leading, you're either leading yourself and or your database, it's going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. So I love how I feel like a family reunion, we ran towards that message and not away from it, right? It's like, get yourself out there, mindset first. And yeah, so yes, on that for sure. I agree with Hannah.
And you guys, I just dumped into the chat the actual full slides from the vision speech for anybody that wasn't on yesterday or who hasn't gotten them yet. The PDF should be in the chat for that.
One of them, and you probably touched on it yesterday, but I thought it was so eye-opening, the number of homeowners who have a 5% rate or less and the amount of equity people have in their home. And we went to a session around how to have that conversation because perhaps I don't want to buy or sell right now, but I've got equity in my home and I am not educated to know what to do with it or what I can do with it. So the real estate agent, maybe the real estate agent, you as the agent, you don't need to know how to guide them in spending their money, but you can help connect them with people that do. And I think that's a big piece of it, like them realizing, oh, wait, I have an opportunity to build wealth, even though I don't need to buy or sell right now. What to do with that, or your primary home, but what to do with that money. And so it was just a reminder, like, be the connector. You don't have to be the master of everything, but you need to be the connector of everything.
I
think
agree. And
go ahead, Teresa.
there's just so much opportunity just in that little piece alone. Like if I think one of the things we had a panel in our own office yesterday, so we had some of our agents who went and they talked about what their takeaways were. And one of the takeaways was that you want to find your avatar and know who's your niche market that you want to go for. But Hannah, to your point, literally working with people who have equity in their home could literally be your business because my tagline is I'm Teresa Kenny and I help people build wealth with real estate. And there's so many ways to do it. And it's so much fun. Like you could have seminars or like just coffee meetups and bring a lender who's really talented at explaining that to people. It's like a gold mine right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Anna, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think, and I've learned this with Adam too, in coaching, I think we're so quick to want to cast a wide net. And I know there are top producers on this call that have a niche, like Teresa's saying, but Gary said something about you go to a general doctor for general problems, you go to a specialist for really specific needs. You pay so much more for the specialist. So don't limit yourself or do limit yourself, like, right? Like pick. For me, I don't know, single moms. That in my mind, I'm like, oh, but what about the men and the families and the older people that aren't moms or whatever? No, just think of all the people that are single moms but suddenly becomes my market and I become the master of that. And then when people think single moms that need real estate, they think of me. They don't just think, oh yeah, Hannah's a realtor.
Right.
Yeah.
So much value in the specific.
Yeah, we used the same example yesterday about physicians. Like if one of Dana's kids fell and broke their arm playing tennis, they're not going to just go to any orthopedic surgeon. They're going to go to an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in sports medicine for children under the age of 18. Fell on a stick cord.
That is very specific.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Okay, so some of the things I wrote down from the opening session, Hannah, you said one of them, and the finish to the you may be buying at top of the market, that one, or the moment but not the market, was like because of appreciation and time, right? And he said these slides are here to bring you perspective. And so, and I will say that I think the slides have to be studied one by one because they each have a message.
Yeah.
And so what we started doing at our team meeting is I bring a slide at every team meeting. We're literally just going through them one by one. And we're talking about what does this slide mean, and which slide should you make part of your buyer. There's one that has the the 4% appreciation line that you couldn't keep me from having that in my buyer consultation, right? And that's because if people want to wait, we can just do some quick math, right? Like Richmond, Virginia appreciated at a 9% rate, which means that if you're going to wait, a $300,000 house is going to cost you $330,000. Are you going to get a huge bump in salary that's going to afford you a $330,000 house? Because those payments are different, right? And then one of the things I wrote down was it's the good news about this market is that it's knowledge and skills based. And that to me, as a control freak, brings me a lot of like comfort, because then I know that the only thing I have to go do is go get better in my knowledge and my skills.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I had from the opening session.
One thing on that, Maria, too, we have a lot of agents who are in the business who have been in the business less than 7 years. And so they only know a speed-based market. They don't know a skill-based market. And that was a huge eye opener, I think, for me this year, just how many people need to brush up on. In fact, this morning, and actually, Hannah, you brought this up to me this morning too, but since then, another call said, it's another top 20% that I'm zooming into. And she said, price reduction conversations. A lot of agents they haven't had to have ever price reduction conversations. So there's just a lot of skills now where we've been in such a speed-based market that agents are going to have to really develop at a super high level. Or if you've been in the business long enough and you haven't used them, you might just need to brush up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we got to hear Jeff Glover yesterday at an event, and he was talking about setting the expectation of price reductions in the listing appointment. Like,
Yeah.
yes, they've already signed, and he's like, I have that conversation in the foyer on my way out. He's like, one of three things will happen. The market will tell us if we've priced this right. In the first 14 days, you'll know, if we have any activity. But it was like very clear. And he'll say, if we have had no activity at 30 days, we'll do, or at 15 days, we'll do a price reduction. Or it's just like, so not a big deal, but letting them know this is where we are and this could happen.
Even writing it into the original listing agreement, if we don't get an offer in the first 14 days, we're just automatically going to knock it down by 25,000. No conversation will be had. This is our plan. We've set this expectation. Yeah.
I love that.
I put a link in there, you all. Dana, I'm sure you've looked at FR Unlocked.
Yes.
And it
Thank
says
you for
chat
putting
GPT.
that
Oh
in.
yeah, I love that website.
Anyway, I don't know, my chat GPT was included, but that's the link and it's so helpful.
I just have one thing from the vision speech too, like my favorite slide. It's the favorite slide every year for the last couple of years. It's the one that shows that even though interest rates
I
are,
knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
they're not over time, over 30 years, they're still slightly below like the average.
That's another slide I'd put in my buyer console. Like, let's educate these clients, right? That's our job, literally, is let's make the complex simple. And if you're not in it every day, I think we just forget, we talk about real estate all day, every minute of the day, right? And they don't know anything about anything. They just know what they've heard.
Yes.
Who knows who's consulting them and who's even, and this is the biggest purchase they're ever going to make. And I've always approached my clients with like, I am going to make sure that you win through this, that you're going to win, and let's talk about what that looks like. What is your ultimate goal? And then using their motivation to move them into action. But we have to ask better questions to our clients. And I think we show up at our buyer consultation and we just talk, and we don't ask any questions. Well, what does that mean to you? Somebody might say, I want to get a good deal. Okay, well, tell me more about that. What does that mean to you? Right? Just the questions that get you to the answer. Because I think we assume, oh, they want right? There's a buyer that wants to go in a competitive situation and wants to ask, right? Wants to offer less than its list. It's like, you're never going to get that, but they may not mean that. They may mean they want a good deal. It may mean something else to them. It may mean something different to them. So
You sound like you've been talking to my husband. Tell me more. What else? What else?
Right, what else?
Tell me
Is there
more.
anything else?
I might have talked to your husband a few times.
One of the things Gary said that piggybacks on that, Maria, is simplifying complicated ideas is what brings people closer to you in business. Like there's so many shiny objects. And I think for the last year, maybe even two, we've just been talking to our agents about getting back to the basics. Like don't overcomplicate it. And you're right, this isn't their language. This is our language. So we really need to make it basic so that they can better understand what's happening.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
comment on that too, because as a former nurse, I realized that like medical people speak a different language. And when you're in there getting your x-ray and you don't really understand what they're saying, I've been telling our agents, that's what it's like for your buyer and seller right now. We're speaking real estate language and they're not understanding what we're saying. And it's our job to ask the questions, to find out what they don't understand, and then clarify that for them.
Yeah.
And simplify it. To your point, Hannah, like it doesn't have to be complicated. Like we can make this so that everybody understands it and where we're going.
Yeah, love that. Wow, so much good stuff already. Okay, this is great. What
So
else?
One of the things that makes me think about, just because we're kind of talking about client expectations, and that is everybody's like, I'm going to paraphrase it, but everybody's heard the promise script, right? It's been around for a really long time. And I heard a really cool twist on the promise script during one of the sessions, which basically went something like, hey, Hannah, in 30 days from now, what exactly needs to happen in the next 30 days in order for you to feel comfortable referring me to one of your friends and family, or just somebody that you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate? So instead of like begging for referrals along the way, right? I say begging because when I was in production, I felt like I had stopping points where I would say, how's everything going? Oh, great. Okay. Well, do you know anyone that's looking to buy and sell? I work off referrals, right? But it felt it didn't feel authentic. I still did it, but I love the idea of like asking up front what needs to happen specifically, right? Because if they're like, well, if we're under contract and we're happy and everything's moving forward, of course I'd refer you somebody that I know is looking to buy and sell. Great. And then I know exactly what I need to make happen to get a referral out of this person. And I love that.
Yeah, super good. Super
Yeah.
good.
What
Anything else, Hannah?
I was going to say, Maria and I just briefly talked the other day about the CEO summit. And I think that was really, it's always one of my favorite parts. And so maybe we scoot back to CEO summit. We're kind of out of order.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
let's do that.
By the way, if you go to family reunion, you have to go to the CEO summit. It's no longer a optional. There's too much value during those hours, and you're the least tired. I feel like you're listening at the highest level because you just got there. So anyways, like I just want to start with that. Don't miss the next CEO summit.
Well, it used to be invite only, and now they've opened it up to anybody can buy a ticket until it sells out. So you definitely want to get it early because it does sell out every year. But yeah, there were so many great. Teresa and I both had a girl crush on that Dr. Robin.
Oh, I still do. I would say Dr. Robin was one of my top 3 takeaways for the entire thing. My mantra now is I can do hard things.
Yeah.
When I think about what she did, and the way she told the story and just her attitude about life, I mean, it just makes me want to be a better person.
And she said it's okay to cuss. So
yeah, she did say it's okay to cuss. Teresa, will you just quickly tell the story, just for those that didn't know about the car thing?
Well, to start off, she kind of got off to a rough start in her teen years. And by the time she was 16, she was an addict. But I think it was alcohol, but I think they got her off of the alcohol. She was doing better. She'd just gotten her license, lives in Canada, snowy afternoon, driving home, drives her car off the side of the road into a river. And the car immediately sunk 20 feet down and she had to get out. And of course, luckily, none of us have probably ever been in a car that's been in the bottom of a river, but as you can only imagine, the pressure, she couldn't get the door open. Plus, she couldn't get out of her seatbelt. Luckily, she managed to do it all by crawling out of the window, which she eventually got to go down, made her way to the top, but hit ice. And her mother, so all the mothers out there take note, her mother, her entire life had been telling her, Robin, you can do hard things. Robin, you can do hard things. She hit the ice and she just told herself, I can do hard things. And this part of the story I don't quite understand, but she literally is running out of breath at this point, but she's looking for bubbles so that she can find the hole where she came in. And finally, like within seconds, she finds that. And sure enough, a man has seen her go off and he's pulled over and he was driving a pickup truck and he had 2x4s in the back of it. And he made a cross out of the 2x4s so that he could lay on that cross and slide himself across the ice like this to get to her and pull her out, which he did, which has
So unreal.
increased
By
her
the way,
strength.
if she, okay, I loved her, but if she had started with that story, she
Yeah.
would have kept the entire audience captive. Somebody needs to tell her she needs to reframe her speech. Sorry, if that's your story, you've got to lead with that. Like,
Yeah.
I will, whatever you say after that, I will be at the edge of my seat because golly, God has a purpose for you. Like, he pulled you out of that water. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to be like
Yes.
this the whole time.
Yes, it was unreal. I mean, I'm trying to find her website to put into the chat for you guys right now, but yeah, it was unreal.
Anyone who's out there going like, oh yeah, I'm not sure if that really happened. She literally pulled out the newspaper article from
Yeah.
1988 or whatever year it was to prove like that it was a picture of her as a 16-year-old and the man who saved her life and how he did it. Yeah, she's
Amazing.
incredible.
She said something. She said, sometimes you have a bad hour, and that doesn't mean it's a bad day.
Yep.
I
Right.
loved that. I wrote that down too.
That was my favorite. And hope is the key, and it shows up in many different ways. She talked about hope a lot.
Yeah, so
Okay.
good.
I'm going to drop a few one-liners in the chat too. Like she said, you're one song away from feeling better. And
Oh
take
yeah.
your worry for a walk. I don't know about you all, but so often I sit in my office alone, right? I'm like drowning in Lord knows what. And I start to feel overwhelmed and unhappy. And I don't think about walking outside. She's
Yeah.
like, that is such a game changer. And
It
it's
really
so
is.
simple.
Okay,
That really resonated with me, honestly. Yesterday I had kind of a weird hard day, and last night at like 8:30, I told Adam, I was like, I'm gonna go for a walk, and he was like, it's dark. I was like, I know, I'm gonna turn my phone up, my flashlight on my phone. He was like, are
Yeah.
you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my walk around the neighborhood because I truthfully remembered that she said that, and I needed to just like clear my head, even though it was because I
Mhm.
knew if I wouldn't have done that, I would have, maybe I'm the only person who does this, but I would have been up at 3 when my brain would have been going nuts on all the things. So I was like, I just need to go for a walk and be
Yeah.
outside for a minute. It changes like your whole perspective.
Yeah.
It does. And I think that you'll see in the chat too, she said, our mind needs stillness, but our body needs movement.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And we do
Yeah.
the opposite. My mind is blah, blah, and
she
my
the
body just
one,
sitting here.
she was
Yeah.
the one that was like, take 90 seconds to process an emotion, right?
Yes.
Y'all, I started doing that. It is a freaking game changer.
Yeah.
Like, you have a meeting. I know we're laughing, right? We're so funny, but like we have these meetings and whatever, for leadership or it doesn't matter. You're in it. Maybe you have a difficult client and you go from one call to one call and you bring all that emotion with you. And she's like, you need to take 90 seconds to process that meeting. Give
Yep.
yourself 90 seconds to process the emotion. And I didn't write it down, but what did she say was like, you can either take 90 seconds to process it or it stays with you for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, she did say that. Yeah.
No, I'm going to take those 90 seconds right
It's so
now.
true. I forgot about that.
And she also said that if you're going to have a difficult conversation with somebody, or like if you have to tell them something bad, to say, I'm going to tell you something that's going to be hard, and then I want you to take 90 seconds to think about it, and then let's talk about it. And she was like, that's a game changer for if you have to deliver bad news or tell somebody something. And I was like, wow, that's really good. How awkward would that be for that 90 seconds? But still, it would be.
Yeah. With a
But
clock.
better, I think she talked about that, like better than going in and being like, okay, you know, whatever, just kind of like asking questions or trying to get comfortable. You're not getting comfortable. She's like, just go in and say, hey, so I've got something hard I have to tell you, or I've got something that might be
Yep.
difficult for you to hear, and just go for it.
Yeah, just yeah, love that.
Okay, and then she talked about like how to activate your regulation activation, your soothing system. So she's like crying, carbs, and going outside. That's Dana, where you got the going outside thing. And she said exactly, they did research. It's one Oreo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oreo is enough carbs, right? And then the birthday cake or the birthday candle, like
Breathing.
breathing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all, I've been doing these things. I'm like,
I love it.
It makes a difference. I recently, my business partner was like, hey, when was the last time you took a breath? And I know all of you are so busy and you just run through your day.
Yeah.
And I never sit and like literally just one inhale, one exhale.
Yeah.
One. But when he said that, it was the Sunday before. Like I genuinely, I was like, oh yeah, I remember on Sunday when I was hiking, I got to breathe. Well, it was like Thursday the following week. Not okay.
But you guys, the funniest part of all though was when she said like she has such great advice and she's such a good mom with her kids. Like her mom advice was really good. But she said, but the one thing I'm always just going to be remembered for is that I discovered that people who cuss live longer.
Yeah.
and then she got.
And then she,
Mhm.
yes, and then
And
and then she let Gary cuss. Yeah.
And then she was like, now that's all I'm gonna be known for.
Yep.
Mhm.
It really was. I think that was the I can do hard things, and if you cuss you live longer were like the two things everyone remembered from her. But
Well,
yeah.
and it's in context, right? It's not just you cuss in a storm. It's like it's really just to express your emotions.
Jamie Bratcher said
Mo-
okay with Mo there. I don't think she was, so we're good.
She would
Any
not
other,
have liked that.
no, she would not. Any other big takeaways from
From the CEO summit.
Here, I'm putting
So-
another, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Hannah, because I have
Putting
two
one-
from CEO summit.
This is CEO Summit, Chip, the power of moments, Chip Heath.
yeah, Tippy.
This is so neat, you all, the little acronym for focus. Where'd the chat go? Focus here. Follow one course until successful.
I loved that.
Resounding theme for me through through Family Reunion was simplify.
Mhm.
Like I kept, well, that and get a YouTube channel. Those
Yeah.
two things, I'm like, okay, I hear you.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna talk about was Sean Connell,
Yeah.
which he's amazing. I love him as a speaker. I'm at the point now where I don't just watch people because I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm also paying attention on how they're delivering a message.
Yeah.
I want to learn. But he had the 3P video method. Hannah, were you guys gonna talk about that?
No, go for it.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I have a picture of it. Just took a screenshot. I'll put it in the comments here in a second, but it's like this.
It was
right?
really good. Yeah.
And it's prepare, press record, and post.
Oh yeah.
And then under
I
prepare
liked that too.
was
Yeah.
get their attention, teach something valuable, tell them what to do next. So it's like, is now a good time to buy? Here are 8 stats, and then call to action. And he talked a lot about like 5 to 6 minute videos that then Hannah and I, when we were coaching with Adam, I don't remember what week this was, Adam put Opus clip on our radar. So now you literally just record a 5 to 6 minute video, feed it to Opus clip, and now you have like 10 reels that automatically created for you. So I have done 1 video a week since Family Reunion.
So good.
I'm so proud.
I'm so proud of you. You know what? One thing, I don't know if you were going to say this, but this was a huge thing. I think I shared this yesterday, or I don't know. I've been on so many Zooms and calls. I can't remember which one. but was it 74% of homeowners are searching YouTube for their home search now? And only 9% of realtors with NAR, so all the realtors in National Association, only 9% are actually using video for on their listings. But yet 74% of homeowners are searching on YouTube. So the numbers were like out of this world. It was so eye-opening. And actually, Teresa, I was going to tell you this. I was so proud of Nathan Klein in our office. He's going all in on YouTube because I'm like, man, there's not one person that has taken the Columbus market and killed it on YouTube. And like many of our markets, I mean, maybe if you're in Orlando, you've got Ken, but other than, I mean, I don't, there's so many markets that who's the YouTube realtor? There's not one. There's nobody. It's
No,
such
yeah.
an opportunity.
He's doing a great job.
And by the way, there doesn't just have to be one. I mean, there should be way more than one, but it just lacks. Like if you can't even name one, that's a huge opportunity.
Well, and I think that's a limiting belief that a lot of people have when it comes to social media content is like, oh, well, there's already so and so doing it. Why, how long is it going to take me to get to that level? And one of the things that Don DeMott shared with us was like, they're not like you. So
Yeah.
like the algorithm is designed to match you with people that are like you. So if you're putting content out there, the algorithm will match you with those people. So there's enough for everybody because no two people are the same.
Yeah, totally.
And so that was a big lesson for me to kind of be like, okay, like that's true. I didn't think about that.
That one of the guys on the main stage, he's from upstate South Carolina, like Greenville area, and he was talking about his business. It was massive, and he hasn't been on YouTube very long. Like I think he got on YouTube like last January. It was something like the runway for his success was so short because he was so consistent.
Yeah.
Like again, just pick one, right? The book, the one thing.
It was
Yeah.
a kid from Greenville, South
Yes.
Carolina.
Like
Yes, yeah, it was. Yes.
and we were at our awards yesterday for our region. He was the rookie of the year. So that shows he hasn't been doing it long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or number one agent. He was one or the other, but it was
Was he
massive.
the one who had the million GCI?
Yes.
Maybe he was our number one individual agent. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember because he has a one pager, I think.
He does. He does have a one pager.
In the link I sent.
Yes, and
Everything's in the link.
Yes, it is. Yep. I'm trying to find Sean. I think it's
I'm
Cannell.
dropping that right now. Well, the thing I have, Lord knows if it's any good, but
Yeah, here his book is YouTube Secrets. I'm gonna drop the link to his book for the YouTube stuff too.
Well, and I want to like add to what Maria said. Maria and I both came home from family reunion and started YouTube channels. And I'm not
I
like,
love that. I love it, you guys. So good.
well, we were told like do one video a week, one long form a week. And long form is like what, 12 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not
it's
that
even
long.
that long, like it could be as small as 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, like, I did not think I was capable of putting that together. It took a Sunday afternoon, so it took a little bit of time. I chat GPT, like, how do you put a video on a YouTube channel? Whatever. It was so easy. And I did end up buying a couple subscriptions like Opus Clips and stuff, but you don't even have to do that. Like, it is just a free channel to put yourself out there. And then, yeah, you get like 8 subscribers, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that he had us do it, right? Like, remember, he had us stand up and say, pick a topic, answer
Yeah.
a question, give them 3 things and a call to action. And we all stood and I did 2 and like in minutes, right? And I think we just overcomplicate it and we think it's, oh, we're not ready for it or whatever. But like, we all know way more than the normal, the walking around person about real estate. You know.
Well, and people in our office have heard me say this a million times, but I mean, you sound like what you sound like and you look like what you look like. Like it's not crazy.
Yes.
So just do it. I mean,
And-
you don't like it, but like it is what it is. Just you have to just go for it.
Anybody who's done it several times admits that their first couple were cringeworthy.
Yeah, look back at Kim
I hate
Posen.
my first one.
That's all part of the fun.
And Maria, I don't know if you experienced this. The first one, whatever. The second one was exponentially easier.
Yeah.
Like
Just the second
100%.
one.
Yes. So true.
Yeah.
I love
Okay,
it.
Jay Bear.
Oh, I
So
love
funny.
him.
Oh, we got Dylan back.
Dylan had to hop off for a little semi emergency, but he's back.
Welcome back, Dylan.
Um, hey guys, sorry. I'll give you guys an update so you're not just sitting there wondering. My wife accidentally slammed her finger in a car door, and when she did, the pain instantly hit her, and she passed out and hit her head on the concrete. Got back up, and passed out a couple times. So I was trying to decipher to leave Nashville and head back to Central Kentucky or not.
Oh
So
no.
Oh
Is
my
she
God,
okay?
Dylan.
she's doing good now. They're taking her to the ER, and I have a couple of I get my family's with her, and then
Oh,
so yeah, so no big deal. We're good
dang,
now.
Dylan.
Sorry. What? So,
Shoot.
yeah, it
Oh
was.
my
Sorry.
God. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dylan, we're talking about your favorite thing from family reunion.
We are talking about your favorite thing, the
What?
videos,
Sean
YouTube.
Video,
Connell.
Don Connell.
yeah, video, and more video. Yeah. So my biggest takeaway right now is definitely that, especially too from when I've looked the last few days over at Instagram, Facebook, those kind of things. If you follow me, I've switched to more video, just because we see more views from it, and I think that we do have this we have this like problem as agents, especially as I know a lot of you have large social media platform followings. We have this thing where we want to have a certain aesthetic, we want to have a certain thing, but
Yeah,
and we
that's
want to have
me.
and we want to go viral, and we want to, but like we don't realize that like sometimes our thing that looks and fits our aesthetic is getting like 1,000 clicks opposed to a video that's shot with your iPhone upside down on accident has ended up with 5,000. And I went through and like I'm a little different. My big thing's Twitter, because I actually have a sports following on there, and then I've just kind of slowly been trying to use it for real estate as well. Like my videos on Twitter will average about 40, 50,000 views for the right
wow.
content. But my pictures that I work so hard for because I'm a sports photographer will get 2 or 3,000 views, and I spend tons of time editing them, and I'm just like a raw video in the moment. So like great content is better than just the presentation. If it's in video, is something that I took away from it. So like, and like one take, like it doesn't have to be perfect. Like all the professional stuff's great, and I think that's needed still.
Yeah.
Definitely so needed. Like go, because then you'll just catch their attention when it is time for something like that. But just video, normal poster still good. Stay active, but yeah, social media. I realize we are not doing it at a high enough level right
Yeah.
now, and that's what we're trying to get better at.
Love it.
Yeah, totally.
So I found this guy, I haven't hired him yet, but like I am days away from doing it, that will do an audit on your social media, and he'll tell you like how to immediately improve it. Like it's not expensive, it's a couple $100. So I'll get you guys the name, but like I'm excited to see what he's gonna tell me how to just even make what I have better.
I've heard of that. I've never done that, Maria, but I have seen like people have messaged me like DMs and stuff and said
Yeah.
that before. But I'm curious. I mean, I'm
This
sure that
guy,
it work.
yeah, this guy I found on YouTube. He has like he has a program, it's like $250. And he guarantees you 1,000 new followers. And if up to like 200,000, and if you don't get 1,000 followers minimum, he gives you your money back.
Wow, that's a what does Adam say that the guarantee? That's a good guarantee.
Yeah, really
Guys,
great.
like ultimately, people are gonna keep business and get business one of two ways: having a strong presence and making it known that they're a professional, or being in deep relationship with people, and then it be repeat referrals. So
Yeah.
if you have agents, or if you are an agent, all the like Canva posts are good. They're needed. You can leverage those out very easily. We have a program in our office that leverages those out. Plus it adds a lot more than just that. There's a whole program centered around it. Those things are needed because, you got to keep on the front of mind, go all those things. But if you're not creating content, and that's not your route, you better be building deep relationship with people, and hovering your sphere,
Yeah.
and farming, those kind of things. Because people without a social media presence, you better be close with them, because there's an agent out there who is touching them hundreds of times a week.
Yeah.
So you better have a deep relationship if social media is not your thing.
Well, you're spot on, Dylan, because I heard, Gary said in the top 100, I think it was Agent Mastermind or one of the masterminds, and I think it was either Gary or Jason Abrams that said, out of the top 100 GCI agents inside of KW, so what is that, like 2 million GCI plus or 1.8 million GCI plus? All of their number one source was Sphere. So, I mean, they were going deep in their database. Sphere was the number one. He said there were only a couple of outliers, and the ones who were outliers, all of theirs was social media. So, I mean, they had just gone deep on social media, YouTube, whatever. And that was the only outlier outside of your Sphere and your database. And so it wasn't like buying leads weren't in the top or, any open house, anything like that. It was either Sphere or your online presence, which is huge because it hasn't always been like that.
Mm.
I think you just got to make our audience known and provide them value at every turn we can in today's society, especially when people within and outside of the market are trying to devalue us by either they're cutting commissions, they're negotiating, like, and then the associations are all trying, with the three-letter associations are all trying to devalue us. You have to make your level of professionalism known at a personal level and just at a touch level through social media.
Yeah.
So speaking of value, I love Jay Bear because we all got twisted in a pretzel when the commission conversation started coming about to try to figure out how to explain value. Like my agents, I remember us just like going, okay, we know we have value, but like, how do we communicate it? Right? We went through year and a half of like all that stuff, right? And he had such clarity around value, right? He's like quick, clear, kind. He's like, at the end of the day, quick is a sign of respect. And Hannah, the video, the link that you posted in the chat, if you didn't go to family reunion, I think that's in the CEO summit. They do cover Jay Bear quickly, and they do talk a little bit about this quick, clear, kind. But I wrote down some things from like his thing is session, which is experience has no escalation. It just keeps going up and up and up. People just want more and more, faster, right?
So true.
Changing expectations or setting expectation is normal and we have to do it. Satisfied customers don't stop using you. For every 100 dissatisfied customers, only 5 will complain. The other 95 just literally leave and stop giving you money.
Yeah.
So willingness to complain is a positive indicator. And then exceed expectations so much that perfection is not required.
Yeah.
And so I sent this to my top 20% and I'll copy and paste it. And then I asked them questions, which is an audit that we did within the team, within the, the K, like our leadership team, which was like, how did the topic of feedback change the way you looked at things? Because I think we automatically get defensive when we receive feedback instead of like, oh my God, they care enough to tell me. Like if you have a customer that's complaining, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then where are we exceeding expectations and where are you falling short on their expectations? And I think then you just go build systems around that. So that was a really great session. I found the video on YouTube. It's not perfectly exactly what he talked about at family reunion, but it's as close as one I can find.
He was honestly, he was one of my favorite, like he was my top 3 of the entire thing. He was great. I dropped some of my notes in the chat too. He really opened I mean, experience is important and I've known that, but he opened my eyes even more on what experience are you providing for your people.
I love that he had a slide up. It said empathy doesn't require exceptional effort, but it yields exceptional results. And Dana, I know you were probably in a puddle when he gave the Chewy
Yes.
example.
Oh my gosh, I know. I was.
You guys, it basically in a nutshell, he was talking about like doing, the extra little thing, like again, the small step. It matters so much because so few go the extra step.
Yeah.
And he said that Chewy.com, a client called and said, you know, I need to return my dog food. My dog died or whatever. And or my cat. And they said, well, just donate it to a shelter and, you know, don't return it. We're so sorry. The next day, that lady had a oil painting of her dog that people at Chewy had gone on her Facebook page, found a picture of her dog. They have oil painters on staff, which is definitely extra.
So hire
Painted
an oil painter. That's all.
Right, right. Painted it, sent it to her. And what Jay was saying was, do you guys think she will ever buy anything, dog food, dog toy, cat, gift, whatever, anything from anyone else? No, she will buy from Chewy for the rest of her life because they
Yeah.
did that one thing. Like, I love that so much.
It
So,
just is like such intentionality, which I love.
mhm,
I love when there's like intention behind things like that.
yeah. Well, and the other examples were like clearly like Chat GPT responses to some complaints. And his point was, who do you think is going to continue to be a customer? And again, this lady might not have a pet again, but she knows somebody that has a pet and she's sure going
Yeah,
to go to chewy.com and buy him something.
yeah,
Mm.
It's huge.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Any
liked him a lot.
any other big tactics you guys heard as we wrap up last 10 minutes around what top agents were doing? Anything around open houses, client events, anything like that?
I went to a panel that was all MREAs. It was a breakout session, and it was called Be the Expert on Real Estate. And they were talking about finding the measurement that you are comfortable talking about and tracking it so that you have a conversation. So Seychelle Van Pool is my sponsor at KW, and she has been tracking total actives, under contract, pending, canceled, and expireds for like years. And she'll do a market update video every week talking about what they're seeing in the market. And she's
Wow.
like, we get so many views, and people really do consider us the expert because of that. And then one of the ladies said this, she goes, it's not, I love this. Like I would say this every day if I worked with a client. It's not the price of the home that you should be worried about. It's only the money you invest into the house while you live there. Like she's like, people are worried about, oh, I'm overpaying for this house. And it's like, well, yeah, but appreciation will take care of you. And it's not the price of the home you should be worried about. It's only the money you invest into it that while you live there, because it might only be your pass-through home. You might not live there more than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that I did not hear that, but that makes total sense because really, if you're investing too much and you do too much and you price yourself out of your neighborhood or out of your market, that's what you should be worried about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to add, if with a couple minutes left, Jamie Kern Lima, of course. You guys, if you haven't read the book Worthy, it's so, I thought I had it in here. I don't. It's so good. But here's what my biggest takeaway was, because I think we're all in the KW ecosystem and we all hear about, like, you know, dream big, go for it, create your vision, what's your 5-year plan. Everything I've ever created has been a positive of what I want in the future. And
Yeah.
Jamie flipped that, and she had us do, this was what was so impactful. Write down your age 10 years from now. And if you have children, write down their age 10 years from now. And then she talked about what is fear keeping you from doing. So I got to sit there and think, okay, if I'm 51 in 10 years, my girls are 14 and 16, and I've let fear keep me from making any changes. So I'm still living this life 10 years from now.
Yeah.
That was profound to me. It's genuinely one of the reasons I came home and started a YouTube channel, because I was like, well, to hell with, I love my life now, but I don't want it 10 years from now. What do I need to do? What do I need to just have the courage to push towards? And so it was, again, that is running away from pain, because we do that more naturally than we run towards pleasure. So when I write a beach house on my 5-year goal, I'm not running towards it, but I found
In
myself
Charleston, by the way, a beach house in Charleston.
it's Sullivan's Island. Yes.
On Sullivan's Island
On
in
Sullivan's
Charleston.
Island.
Okay.
It's coming soon. But I'm now running away from the pain of my life being the same when I'm 51, instead of, you know, the beach house that is exciting. I didn't find myself running towards the good. For better or for worse, I naturally didn't do that. But I'm finding myself being motivated and driven through the pain of what my future could look like if I'm not courageous now. I hope
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, that's
I
why
love
I love
that.
Gary Keller. Like that, I mean, amongst all the things that he has done for us and within KW, my favorite thing about Gary is that his passion is not living a life of regret. Like
Mhm.
he says that all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to that. Like that's his core. And I relate to that. I'm like, there is no way I'm getting to the end of this going, I didn't do all the things I wanted to do, whatever that is.
But
And the
Jamie,
thing
you
is,
guys said something that was really important because when the QVC guy told her the first time, like, hey, no one's gonna buy makeup from someone that looks like you, her gut instinctively told her
Yeah.
that's not true.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
she trusted, so this even kind of pulls in Dr. Robin again too, because she trusted her gut. And sometimes you have to go out into nature and take a walk to like sift through all the noise around you and think about like, wait. And Gary, the same thing, right? Like Gary's gone up against a lot of things. Both of these highly successful people have trusted their guts and
Mhm.
stayed on their course. And I just have so much respect for Jamie. Woo.
well, I think that too, that we have enough goals. We've already got our things in line.
Oh, we
So,
lost you,
sorry,
Dylan.
Oh,
sorry,
there,
cut out.
you're back.
We have all the goals and have all the things. We just don't have enough accountability and drive and implementation to make these things happen.
Yeah.
Like, if,
Well, we get distracted.
wow,
It goes back to simplicity, personally and professionally. Like I often ask myself, does this need my DNA? There are
Yeah.
a lot of things that don't. I don't have to pack my kids' lunches. Someone else can. I have to put my children to bed because I want to do that more than anything, right? Like, but there's certain things that don't have to have your DNA in them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
Yeah.
that's
great.
simplicity.
And as
and like,
achievers, we want our DNA to be on everything sometimes. And so you
Yes.
really have to like take a step back. Yeah. Dylan, sorry, go ahead.
I said too, it's like I've realized that there was like my big thing is that I took away from family reunion. Sorry that I've been a whole mess. This is normally not me at all. Like my AirPods died, my wife got sick. Like I've just been off and on, but like that's normally not me, I promise. But the what I learned is guys, we complicate it way, way, way too much. And it's literally just do the work, do it. And I think that my biggest takeaway is to tell our agents is like have accountability, like whether that's coaching, whether that's just accountability partners, whatever, have accountability, live through your pipeline, live through your calendar. I know that is like the most simple thing in the world, but like time block for these things and like live through it. Like don't like start thinking bigger and just do the work and the models and the proven systems. And like, yeah, YouTube's new, but a system around building social media platform is not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you doing reels at 45 seconds opposed to 5-minute videos, or doing doing reels or doing, things for the algorithm opposed to hashtags. Yeah, those are different methods, but the time blocking, the work ethic, and the seeking out strategies to be successful in this market's not new. Like it's just finding out what it is,
Doing it.
setting goals, having implementation and doing it, like having application and doing it and living through the pipeline and living through the calendar, because that's where it's going to be found. Like I had somebody the other day that they were down about their business, and I was just like, call your database, like literally call your database. And they got 2 new buyers on the look today. Like just do the work, guys.
Mhm.
Well, and even though you go to family reunion and you see so many things that other people are doing, stay authentic to yourself though.
Yeah.
Like try
Yeah.
to be you in your YouTube. Do not try to be
Mhm.
Dylan or do not try to be Hannah. Like
Right.
people want to see you and your authentic self shows up. Good
That's
things happen.
that's what I've had, like, no joke, 5 people call me this week and be like, how do you do this on social media? Help me with this, help me with that. I'm like, I will tell you what I've done, but go do it in your spin.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I've got 5 cappers in the last 5 months that strictly came, not all of my cappers, but like the 5 of them strictly came from me knowing them, from them watching my sports stuff. And if Dana was to go start posting about sports stuff, no cappers are going to call her.
They're
They're gonna be
definitely
like, Dana, did you get hacked?
Dana can only wear a sports headband. That's about as far as I'm
But
going.
what's going to happen is
And that's why we
Dana's
love you.
But what's going to happen is Dana's going to make some post about Charleston or some kind of food, and then somebody's going to slide up on it and be like, "Hey, oh my gosh, I need to try that when I come to Charleston." Oh yeah, great. Well, while you're at it, call Dylan, and we're going to get you to come over to KW.
Yes,
Like,
so
like
true.
you
Well-
got to find what works for you. Be yourself. Take
Yep.
whatever you can learn and go apply how Hannah does it. Go apply how Teresa can do that.
Well,
Yeah.
Dylan, I have to laugh because when you and I first got started and I said, hey, so like, what do you say in a text message? And you were like, well, I just say like, hey, do you mind if I give you a holler a little later? Oh yeah, no, that's not going to be a Teresa thing.
No, and then Teresa
I was
showed me
like,
one day, and I was like, I just looked at her, like, because it's like this is like a coaching moment, because she's helped me a million times too about just like asking my agents for meetings and different things like that. I just looked at her, I was like, Teresa, this isn't you. You can't be me. Like, text them, call them. You go be yourself. Like,
They're going to be like, why are you hollering? What's going on?
Yeah, Teresa said in Columbus, definitely people would say, well, Teresa, why are you hollering at me? It's such a great example. It's such a great example. Okay, 1 minute left. Any last burning piece of advice from family reunion that you would share? Maria?
Okay,
Go.
I have one thing to say, which is I came back from family reunion with a million things that I want to implement. And when I sat at my desk to go make that happen, I looked over and I have my 135 framed right here.
Love it.
And I said to myself, until this happens, nothing new happens.
So good.
So, take it or leave it. I know we like shiny things, but at the end of the day, if we're not following the original plan, we don't
Yep.
get to add to it. So my
Yep.
maths coach and I are like, no, back to,
Mhm.
and then she knows what I want to implement. And there's little things that you can do that are fast, like using an app or whatever. That stuff is easy to implement. But if it's big, major shifts in your business, they don't get to go on my 135 until that stuff gets checked off. So
Yeah, so good. Yeah,
I-
so good.
I
Dylan?
made real quick, I made a parking lot, guys, and I stuck with it. I made a parking lot of my 5 most important things. And when something would go on it, something would come off, and I'd get on there. And once I looked on there and go, oh, the 5 things I have of my most important, those are more important than what I just listened to. I'm just going to put it over here in my notes. But my parking lot of the 5 things I wanted to implement the most, I go through, and when I feel like I've mastered one of those, then I can go to the next one. And guys, guess what? It's been a few weeks now, and I'm still on number 1. And I time block in the morning to work on that number 1. Those other 4, I'll get to them. And then after that, I have another whole set of 10, 15 pages of notes.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on number 1, and that's been social media for me. But I'm still working on number 1 while I'm running through my 135, trying to grow our office on my original plans. Just like she said, that's the biggest thing I learned.
Yeah, so good. So good. Teresa, then Hannah, close us out.
I guess for me, it was, I don't even know who said this, but you have to control, once you have control of yourself and your calendar, so kind of like what Dylan's saying about the accountability and Maria with the 135, you control yourself and then everything else falls into place. So if something's going wrong in your world and you're sitting there scratching your head, it's probably because you've let too many other things into your life that shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And one thing I'll add on Teresa is that I didn't hear that Teresa taught me, if you are thinking that you feel like you're wrapped up in other things that are happening, like I don't like the toilet paper that's in the bathroom, or this person said this to me, or this happened, ask yourself, how does that affect my business? Because if it's not affecting your business, then just put it out of your.
That is huge. That is the number one. Definitely, Dana, that's my number one. Like, how does this affect your business? Like,
Yeah, how does it affect your business? And if it doesn't, then stay laser focused on that. Okay, Hannah?
Last thing, so this is Jamie Kernlima too, but she said, in life, we do not become what we want or dream. We fall to what we believe ourselves to be worthy of.
So good.
You can do all the work in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself, good luck.
Yeah.
So-
So good. Because also one of those guys said, if you don't believe what you say, then they're definitely not going to
Yes.
believe what you say. And they care more about believing that you believe it than
Yes.
them believing it.
Ed
Yeah.
Mylett said that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I
I was
love
like,
it.
gosh, that's so true.
Yep.
Okay. You guys are amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being
that was
on
fun.
here. Hope this was valuable and lots of good stuff in the chat. We recorded it for those that couldn't be on. We'll be posting it on our YouTube channel. And so, yes, everybody have a super blessed week. Thank you, Maria, Hannah, Teresa, Dylan. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love y'all.
Bye, guys.